President Trump spent campaigning on the West Coast today. Moments ago, he wrapped up his second rally of the day in Arizona after weekend campaign stops in Nevada, California, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The CBS News Battleground Tracker has the president trailing Joe Biden in all those states, with Arizona being the only toss-up state.
The former vice president was off the campaign trail today, prepping for this week's second and final presidential debate. But his vice presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, was back in Florida for campaign events in Orlando and Jacksonville, explaining some of the issues she says are at stake in this election. And joining us now, Kendall Coffey. He's a former federal prosecutor and founding member of the law firm Coffey Burlington. He was also a key member of the Gore-Lieberman team in the 2000 presidential recount litigation. Mr. Coffey, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Now, in some ways, it seems like some of the factors that were in play back in 2000 have returned now in 2020. There's stoking of fears about socialism and communism and efforts to cast doubt on the validity of the results of the election. So what lessons should both campaigns take from the chaos of 2000?
Well, I think both campaigns are very, very ready on legal issues. They've been wargaming this thing for months. They've got plenty of lawyers on both sides and are trying to be prepared for everything possible. But this is Florida, so you never know what's really going to happen here. The one thing that voters appreciate is how important the vote is, because we remember how close it was in 2000, and also how critically important Florida is. There are a lot of reasons to believe that people of Florida are going to decide who is going to sit in the White House for the next 4 years.
All right, Kendall, so now that we know both sides have lawyered up in a big way, what are some of the legal challenges that we might expect?
Well, early voting is going to be sort of a testing ground to see if issues come up that could be election day issues. So people vote, are the machines working, is everything sort of on track right now? On election day itself, I think we're all looking at what will be the impact of mail-in ballots. Will there be challenges? Will there be a process that moves smoothly? Because remember, we have signature verification that is the key to determining whether to count a mail-in ballot, and it's a signature that's on the outside of the envelope compared to a signature that is on file with the supervisor of election that may have been sitting there for a bunch of years. And many of us know that handwriting does change.
Let me stop you right there, because I was just talking to Lauren about this, and she had her maiden name before she was married when she first registered to vote. Could that be a potential problem?
Hopefully not, but they're going to look at the signature. They're going to compare it to what's on the ballot. They're required to use a standard that says they will accept it unless they are certain beyond a reasonable doubt that it is not your signature. But for that reason, Lauren, a lot of people are voting early to make sure that their vote counts.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are ways to change and update the signature with the supervisor of elections office. So if you're not sure, be sure to check on that ahead of time as well. Now, the CBS News Battleground Tracker shows Florida as a crucial toss-up state. You mentioned just how important it is. Joe Biden has a slim 3-point lead with all the challenges facing the president, though. Why don't you think Biden's lead is even larger here in Florida?
Well, people are just so divided about so many things. And of course, we know in 2016 it had seemed that Hillary Clinton was slightly ahead going to the weekend before the election, but she carried Florida. So none of us can take Florida for granted on either side. And I think you're going to see every day more energy, more emphasis, and it's going to go down to the wire in Florida. And I'd be perhaps pleasantly but certainly surprised if you all are able to call this thing anytime early on election night.
Well, the 2000 election ended up at the Supreme Court. You're predicting there will be legal challenges, Kendall?
There are going to be legal challenges, but what it takes before you can really go anywhere with a legal challenge is a sub-microscopic margin. If there's a big margin, even a good challenge doesn't become a good challenge.
Okay, Kendall Coffey, thank you very much.